didn't have a day.
There's a lot of stuff people had to do.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. I think I'm honestly gonna
work.
like remember this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a good game. Remember what we
The what?
did yesterday.
The ice.
Oh, it wasn't that bad. Yeah, it really wasn't. No.
I know, but it's because mostly because of the buses and the kids that have to walk to school, not like you guys who would have to. All right, shh, quiet so we can get through this. So today we're gonna go over a different type of plot to look at our data set. So we've been going over histograms. Now I want to go over a box and whisker plot. Okay. So a box and whisker plot can also be used to identify the shape of a distribution. The position of the line representing the median indicates the center of the data. Okay, so that line in the box part, represents the median. The whiskers show the spread of the data. Okay, so how far your range goes to. If one whisker is considerably longer than the other and the median is closer to the shorter whisker, then the distribution is skewed. Okay, so we have, can we stop talking please? So we have a negatively skewed box and whisker plot. So that one's more towards the right. You have a shorter whisker on the right and your median is closer to that one. We have a symmetric. So it's the same on both sides for your whisker and your median is generally in the middle. And then we have a positively skewed one as well. So that one is more towards the left. Okay, so your whisker is shorter on the left-hand side and your median is closer to that whisker. Okay, so it's very similar to what we did before for a histogram. Okay, so for example 1, okay, the students in Mr. Fiji's language arts class found the average number of minutes that they each spent on homework each night. So we are going to use a graphing calculator to create a box and whisker plot, then describe the shape of the distribution. So again, in letter A, I have everything laid out for you here. So first we want to enter the data as L1. Do you remember how to get to L1?
Yes.
Sure. How do we get there? Stat enter. Okay, so L1 is right here, and we want to enter all of this data into L1.
Take a picture. Put it in.
Plug in all of the data into L1. I already have all mine. So enter all of that data into L1. Got trick homework to do? I'm working. Just piece of paper.
How many numbers are I have 24.
Yes, I have 24.
And the teacher always helps me out with a lot of good grades.
I have 25.
Work, I don't.
All right, one. The blank one down here is 25. All right, so once you have your list, we want to press second and stat plot. That's where we can change what our graph looks like. Okay, so press your second button, and then stat plot again is the one right above y equals. Okay, and those gray area buttons. I don't remember if you're all gray. Okay, we want to make sure that plot 1 is on. So if it's not, you need to press enter. Well, you need to press enter anyway, so you get into this screen. Okay, now if it's not on, you want to press on and press enter. Okay, then we're going to go to the type of graph. So before it was on a histogram. That was this one, right? Now we want to make a box and whisker plot. So we're going to go to this graph right here. Okay, so that's the bottom one to the left. So you just have to press the right arrow key until it goes to that one. Press enter. Okay. And we want to then adjust the window. Okay. So we're going to press the window button. Now our data here, our lowest number, if I'm looking through here, is something in the 30s, 33. So I'm going to start at 30. Okay, so X min will be 30. And then my highest value is 70. I just went to 80. Oh, it's 73. I just went to 80 then. And then I put my X scale as 10, not 1. And then your Y min and max, you can have Y min at 0 if you want, or -1, and then you just want it to go to 10. And then Y scale is 1. Okay? Once we adjust that window, we can press graph, and this box and whisker plot should show up. Okay, now that graph looks more, what, negative, positive, or symmetric? It is symmetric. Okay, so when we're describing the center and spread, we can say the distribution, yep, is symmetric. So use the mean and standard deviation to describe the center and spread. Okay, so we need to use the mean and standard deviation. Do you remember how to get to the mean and standard deviation? I mean on your graphing calculator to make it a little bit easier. Not second. Stat. Okay, you press stat and this shows up, right?
What the heck?
Well, come on. So to get to your mean and standard deviation, again, you press stat. You want to go over to the right to calc, and then you want 1 bar stats, so you want to press enter. Okay, and then go down to calculate. Make sure it says L1 on yours if you need to do that part, and then press enter.
You got your min and your Q whatever, and then your other one.
No. We're using the mean and standard deviation. So which one is the mean?
The one with the 3x.
X bar is the mean. That's 53.5. Your standard deviation, since if you look at this little hint to the left here, since we're using the whole class, okay, we want to use the population standard deviation. Okay, that's the one that has this sigma right here. Okay, that's your population standard deviation. The S one is the sample. So that's the one where we took n-1 to divide to get the variance. This one is just divided by n. So our standard deviation is 10.5-ish. So we're going to use those two. So our mean is just the average. So we can say the average number of minutes that a student spent on homework each night was our mean, which was 53.5. And that had, so with a standard deviation of about 10.5. Okay, so when it's symmetric, you just have to state what the average was, so the mean, and then state with that standard deviation of 10.5. Okay, so that's how you would do it if it is a symmetric box and whisker. Okay, did you all get to the 1 bar stats? Okay, yeah? Yeah?
Sure.
Any questions on that one? X bar is the mean, so that's what we use to get that 53.5. All right, then go to example 2 on the back. We're going to do the same thing. So on the back it says Janet's parents have given her a prepaid cell phone. The number of minutes she used each month for the last 2 years are shown in the table below there. So we want to create a box and whisker plot, then describe the shape of the distribution in letter A. So in your graphing calculator, you want to go back to L1 and enter all of that data in L1. Okay, so how do I get to L1? What do I press? Stat. Then what? Enter. How do I clear? Up, clear, enter. Good. Then I can enter all of that data there. Oops. So you should have 24. There should be 24 numbers.
I got 30.
What?
You did something. You did it.
How did you get 30? You added like 6 extra numbers.
Eric,
How did you do that?
did you never hear the question? The past 2 years, so how many months are in a year?
Exactly.
He's talking about there's 12 months in a year, so there should be 24 numbers. Because it's for 2 years.
Oh, what did I have to do with it?
You shouldn't get 30.
You shouldn't get 30 because her cell
You probably
phone
just added it up one.
Yeah. All right, so did we all enter the data, right? All right, what should I do next?
Window.
Go into my window. Since we already did one problem, your stat plot should be on and it should be under the box and whisker, right? So then I'm going to change my window. Okay, my lowest value is 511. Yep, so I'm going to say my X-min is 500. Yep, no. Then
700.
my highest is 6 something, right?
695.
So I'll go to 700. I'm gonna put my scale at 100 instead of 10.
I had 50.
Actually, yeah, I'm gonna do 50.
I did 90, but 49.
Okay, so here's my box and whisker. Now, if I look at this, what type of distribution is that? How do I?
Positively.
Yeah.
It is negatively skewed. So I'm just gonna draw it out so I can see it here.
I don't know if I actually positive.
Why?
Positive should go to the left, no, negative should go to the right. Right? Positively? Yeah, positive should be on the left, negative should be on the right. I don't know, it's just.
All right, so here's my distribution, just a rough sketch of it. Then I can say it is negatively skewed.
Exactly, that's on negatives on the left side.
Well, I don't know what it is.
That's an outlier.
Well, it's because like the box is on the left side. When I look at the box going to the left, so it's going down.
That's a good understand. Plot. Whatever. My head hurts.
So really, we have three choices.
on
We don't know what the we have three choices to make it go right.
Oh, I was trying to get the one in the middle.
Negative two. Negative two.
This is like
All right. So since it is negatively skewed, how should we describe the center and spread?
Well, you see, the distribution is negatively skewed, so use the mean and standard
It has a
deviation.
wider
No,
range.
not the mean and standard deviation.
It has a wider range than the data to the right.
So if you remember back to our histograms, right? Past couple days, if it was skewed, you want to use the 5-number summary.
I figured it out when you were done.
Okay? So if it's symmetric, if it's symmetric, you use the mean and standard deviation. So since this distribution
easier stuff.
is skewed, use the 5-number summary. Yep. So if it's any type of skewed, you want to use that 5-number summary. So we need to get to that 5-number summary. How do I do that?
Use 5 numbers.
Yep.
By the way, if you,
How do I get there on my calculator? Stat.
yeah.
Go to calc, so to the right one, and then enter. Press calculate. And then you want to go all the way down till you hit the min, Q1, median, Q3, and max. Okay, so we just want to use those to describe what's going on. So Janet's used minutes.
It's like negative two.
Range from what? What's the min?
Minimum.
Range, yep, from 511 to what's the max?
Minimum.
695.
About a half this time, 7% half.
Okay, so I got the range down. I had the min and the max.
Should be like this whole time.
Then I want to say something about the median. So the median is what? What's the median? Yeah. What's the number?
The medium. Where does it tell you? Don't you gotta press a button?
I told you how to do that.
I wasn't paying attention.
Okay, so the median is 655.5 minutes.
24 months.
Okay, and then I want to use one of the quartiles. So the median is what?
24 months. 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 24
or both of the quartiles. So if I say Q1 and Q3, what percent of data is between Q1 and Q3? 50%. So I can say and half, which is 50%. Yep. Of the data is between 616.5 and 670.5 minutes. Okay, so I got all 5 numbers in there. I got the min and the max, so that was the range. I talked about the median, and then I said 50% of the data is between the 2 quartiles, or quartile 1 and quartile 3. Okay, does that make sense?